Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good morning, this is Elevate Television, advancing kingdom lifestyle, and today we have another conversation to build on the last one and on the other one until something happens into your life. Remember this, every time we gather like this, it's an opportunity to bring out opportunities and bring out, what we can do out there, what is available out there, and just bring light and understanding. And as we always say, somebody somewhere needs just information. They don't need money, they just need an information. And today we have someone who is rich in information, been in the industry and being part of growth in the photography and the media business. And so call your friends, call your neighbors. The link is already out on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. You can pick it up. Remember, if you've not liked our pages on Elevate Television, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all those are there for you to pick so that you can get the prompts as early as possible and so that you can be part of this community and our conversations, and we're going to build it together. Well, like the drill goes, the link is out. Let's share it. Everybody share it. Share. Before you do anything else, share it. I want you to share it. Share it on your status. Share it on your Facebook pages. Share it everywhere you can. Let it be. Let's share this. Keep on sharing. Let's share. Good. Mine is shared. All right, there you go. Oh my. YouTube is already live. Facebook is live. You can go there and pick it up and let us be part of this conversation, and let us become people that give others information. Remember that this information is out here for you and for me to be able to learn. There you are. I have done. There you go. Lily is in the house after 2 years?
Yeah, 3.
3 years?
Yes,
after
3 years.
3 years,
Yes.
you're back and
I'm
looking younger. Welcome
you.
to Elevate. Please look at that camera, introduce yourself, and we shall be kicking up.
Good morning, Lilly, Maingi Karanja, a seasoned photographer, a creative director, and owner, BlackSwan Media. I'm a mother, a wife, a lover of life, and a soul living and loving life.
I testify to that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're quite something, and I really appreciate, especially for your time.
Thank you.
I know your time is very precious.
Thank you.
Really, let me begin there so that we and also appreciate my friend Mr. Karanja.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Yes.
The last time we talked with you, we were talking about photography again.
Yes.
And just the way it's going, the trends. 3 years is a lot of time.
Yes.
And we've seen a lot of evolution. Today we are not talking what we were talking last 3 years and things. Just for your back to school, jog your memory, the evolution of photography. I don't know if you did the darkroom photography.
I think when I was coming in, it was just being phased out.
It was being phased out.
Yes.
Wow.
But there were still a few photographers who were hanging on to the film.
The film, yes. Yes. I decided one time to do that thing, to do the film. Yeah. Not just the film, to go into a lab and do the fixer, the process. Yes, and I succeeded.
Oh, really?
There are people who still do that. I mean, as a school.
Yeah.
So I succeeded. I produced several photos. Yes.
And there are people who are very passionate about it, and they won't let it go. In fact, my first camera was my dad's. And it was film.
Film, yes.
Yeah. But when finally he produced the images, part of them we were doing like this.
It's but you see the film one.
Yeah.
I think those people who do, okay, I was a very young boy when I used to see films. We would be taken either to photo sessions,
Yeah.
and especially when you come to Nairobi, you'll be taken to Uhuru Park or the KICC, and there you find these guys, these
Yeah.
old guns
Yes.
with
Yeah.
jackets and taking,
Yeah.
and they would bring those photos, and they were actually very good photos.
Yes, they were.
And those and manual, fully manual.
Yes.
Then come the advent of digital cameras, small digital cameras
Yes.
that will use files and
Yes.
hard drives,
Yes.
the small disc,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I used to have one. That one
I have one as well.
I have
In
one
fact,
in the house.
Shidani, I can't find a charger. So
Yeah,
it's as good
interesting.
as
Even
dead.
me, my charger got lost.
Yeah.
Got lost, and I can't find a charger for it. And it was very nice. It
Yes.
used to take one click and very
The
sharp.
cyber shot one.
Yes, cyber shot.
Yeah.
Very nice one. I did that. And so, when I was studying something, I was reading, not really studying, about Kodak and the digital migration and the Kodak.
Yeah.
Because most of us knew Kodak for film and all
Yes,
that.
they were the big
But
one.
then they delayed a bit in the digital migration. And
Yeah.
that's where they
Yes.
were lost.
They
and,
snoozed a little bit.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you see, and that gives you a lesson today, the element of evolution,
Yes.
change, and the new changes that are coming. And I think that's where I want to begin by asking you, how well are you adapting, and how do you adapt to change? And especially speak to a photographer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you have to adapt. And again, that there's that cliche saying that says you snooze, you lose. With the trends and the technology that is advancing right now
Yeah.
in the creative industry, we're now applying a lot of tech.
Yes.
Okay, and the digital space is also gearing towards AI. So as photographers and people in the creative industry, you have to improve your skills and grow yourself with the tech that is current.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've done it personally. Of course, there's resistance of, we cannot be phased out. But I mean, right now you can see more billboards having AI images. Yeah. But as we are adapting, I also still insist that we are very secure in our craft.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, yes.
I use AI, I have used it, but it cannot take away from what you give.
Like they say, AI is not creative.
Yes.
You are the creative.
I'm the creative.
Yeah.
So it's also in my mind to be able to prompt it for it to give me the images that I want.
Yes,
So that is my creativity.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, yes.
So we are adapting to it, we are adjusting and going with the times. And we are seeing a lot more gadgets out here. Everybody is owning a camera. If not a camera, it's the DJI, the GoPros.
Yeah.
Things are changing.
Things are changing.
And they're adapting. So as a creative, I need to learn now, how do I find myself in this niche that the potential client can also own
Yes.
an equipment or a gadget that can give them very good quality images at a fairly reasonable rate. So how then do I place myself as someone they will need to have? And I'll tell you more about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I once searched somebody there. He's
Yeah.
actually a master professor in AI, and he said something very, very interesting. He said AI. I think people are misinformed about AI.
Yeah.
AI did not come to take away your job. It came to make your job better.
Yes.
What you're not doing is you're not mastering AI. You're not coming. You're not learning. You're not you're not educating yourself. Because if you're ignorant of some of these things, you lose business.
Yeah.
Because one, technology is supposed to make life easier, make work faster, and make you more productive.
Yes.
So that you are able to handle 3 projects in a very fast way. Whether it's coloring your photos, whether you want this kind of a photo, just once you have given it the right settings, it will just produce for you what you want. We come from a place of storytelling,
Yes.
from photography.
Yes.
Case in point, I think Mohammed Amin was one of the best in storytelling, and his photos talk a lot.
Yes.
Do we still have that? Do we still people who story tell with their photos?
Yes, and that's the aspect that technology cannot take away from the photographers or the creative industry. There are still people who are passionate about telling the story. So as you're saying it, the AI and the tech and whatever, just to make things easier for us. But behind that is the story that you tell. When you're capturing your image or when you're giving your AI the prompt, what story are you trying to relay to the audience? And I feel like, you know, that aspect is still very rich right now, and it can't go away.
And you can't take it away.
You can't take it away, and that's what separates, of course, one person, one creative to the other. There are those who are, of course, just pick a picture or just document.
Just give us a photo.
Just take a photo.
But the way you know, and we'll be talking about this, different areas of photography, because many people don't understand that photography is not pick a picture.
Yeah.
I remember my lecturer used to tell us, when you pick a camera, don't click until you have the final story. So you are coming from a final story, where you are telling it now by every click. So that if you took that photo, it is part of the story. You took the other one, it's part of the story.
It speaks for itself.
So that when they are put together, you know, I used to go for photo gallery expos, and they're still there at the Goethe Institute, at the French Cultural Center. If you go, they're still there up to today. They still have this photo expos where you go and see the story. Right now I saw somebody else doing a photo story of a Gaza Strip in Israel. Do we have people in Kenya? And I still they are. I still believe, because I know one or two. I know one or two who do that, where they tell their stories through photography.
Yes.
And that one cannot be done by AI.
No, it can't. And if it can, I mean, you still have to have that creative mind to give it and tell it the story that you want.
Actually, the feel, because it may give you words, because it's a machine.
Yeah.
But then who tells the story is you.
It's you.
It's you who tells the story.
And, you know, when you talk about that, and you find even storytelling with the creatives who do animals, and you'll find even in an exhibition, there's a portrait or a picture of a lion, just one. But next to it is one that has a story. Probably the lion is caressing its cub or holding it close. You find that the number of buyers would prefer the one that has the emotion and the story behind it, as opposed to the one that is just one static photo.
Anybody can take out lion's photo.
Yes.
You know, the stories that are there. And I want you to begin to think about a photographer, because I don't know if we have, when I did a lot of photography personally, but in my space, I learned a lot, a few things, and I came to realize a place of a niche.
Okay, yeah.
Cutting your niche. Because, you see, photography, and I had one guy, we were in school together. That guy was good with wildlife. He was always looking out for wildlife. If you went out with him, he'll come back with photos of birds. He'll come with frogs. He'll come with, you know,
butterflies,
you just look ants,
and
butterflies. But when we go into the editing room, when it comes out, what you see, you just want to buy.
Yes.
And so we realized he was a nature photographer. Actually, we didn't even know that. It's after many years I said, that guy was a nature photographer. And he never pursued it, by the way. I still call him. He's in one of his, I still call him, boss, what happened to your nature photography? Because that guy was passionate. We have that kind of thing, nature photography.
Yes.
Yeah. Give us one more.
So we have nature, we have family, we have portraits, we have wedding, corporate. I'm just trying to explore the other niches.
Documentaries. Features.
Yeah. So there are several niches, and I know not everybody can do everything.
Yes.
And it's, as you're saying, it's good to identify what your strength is and what you're good at. Personally, I mean, I've found myself being very comfortable with corporate and family.
Wow.
Yes. So I remember from our last conversation, I told you I started with weddings.
Yes.
Yes. And I did these weddings for these young couples for a very long time. And from there, I grew up with them.
You grew with the couples.
I grew with a couple.
Yeah.
So I became their personal
Family
family photographer.
Yes.
And again, I told you, as their family photographer, they're growing in their corporate world, and I become
Yes.
their photographer in the companies and
yes.
the places of work. And you see, with this niche, I found myself being very easy with families because I'm very good with children.
Yes, yes.
Okay? So people would come to my studio and they tell me, the minute they get a recommendation from a family and say, you have very nice photos on your wall. I mean, the babies have been captured so well. Who did your shots? They say, Lilly. And say, hey, Lilly, BlackSwan, no, we speak. So once we do the shoot, they tell me, oh my God, I've had such a beautiful experience. So the photo shoot stopped being another photo shoot. Because you know, the wazees would come in like, okay, guys, I have 5 minutes. Easy picture tufanye haraka tumalize. Because they used to remember the ordeal that they had with the previous photo shoot. But this one starts becoming very beautiful. It's friendly. The children are enjoying it. We're capturing the moments. And then they realize this is actually beautiful.
Yes.
So they start planning photo shoots as a way of either a gift or a way to wind down an afternoon of Saturday afternoon or so it stops being such a tasking thing.
And so yours is not just photography, you're even changing attitudes.
Yes.
Amazing.
Because I'm capturing memories, you know, and I'm preserving them. And that's what I want you to look at your wall, and the one thing you remember is, oh, this happened and this is what led to this photo. I will not be the photographer that will get you in and rush you. Okay, you know, I did sneak into a few studios also just to see how it goes, yeah? And you're being told, sit. Okay, you sit. Okay, change. So you're asking yourself, how am I changing? You need to direct me.
Yeah.
I'm here because of your expertise. So make me feel comfortable.
And I think that element of people, I mean, bringing the people aspect into a trade or into a creative, you know, space, because as even films, you know, you can do films and you can live of, you know, just static. You're a machine. You just play this role. Once you're done with this role, go, you know, it's change. You know, let's go to the next role. But then making it a fun experience, making it a memorable experience is key, and especially with photography. If it doesn't become memorable, because you see, the only thing that keeps memories again is photos. Even if they are 50 years old.
Oh yes.
You know, you look at them and you say, wow.
You know, I look and I love this, and I love my industry, and I love what I do, because I know years and years down the line, it will be passed to generations and generations, and people will be seeing an album and saying, oh, this was taken at this time, this is what was happening in this event. So I'm capturing memories that will outlive people, and they'll be passed on to new and younger generation.
Wow. Talking about memories and albums, coming from albums, you know, you remember those school you began in school albums. From albums, went to family albums, to wedding albums. Now we have corporate albums. Now the albums have gone digital. Now we are not just talking about albums, they are files where you just put on the screen and you know, it's playing some nice music and you can see this memory. And you see, you know, families just sitting in front and looking at that memory, going through a whole event, a wedding event, and they say, oh my God, this is us. You know? And you see, what do you feel when you see people just are caught up like that?
I feel some sense of, you know, joy and fulfillment, because I know people spend to put up and set up events. I mean, for you to hold even the simplest of a birthday or a wedding, a corporate event, you've spent money, and you want to remember these moments. I know sometimes when you're actually the one in the event, you don't pay attention to what is happening. So you depend on your photographer, on your videographer, on that creative director, whoever, to be able to remind you of how the event was and what the moments that you can remember from that. And so once I see that, I mean, it just really blesses my soul, the other aspect I never had imagined is my images, and this is sad, being used for funeral
Oh my.
and obituaries.
Yes.
And so over the years, like I would find now, much later, a client calling me, Lily, hi, remember the photos we did 4 years ago? We lost our father, we lost our mother, we lost our brother, and there's that one particular photo that you took of them. So when the first time that happened, there was this feeling in my heart that, you know what, this is just not any other thing. A photo can mean so much to somebody
Yes.
at a crucial moment. You might think you just did a photo, a random photo, but it's the one thing that people will cherish and live with, you know, even beyond, when someone departs. Yeah.
And that's why it's called memories, I think, because looking at it and but sometimes when unfortunately tragic events happen, people are looking for a photo, that one photo.
Yeah, that one.
He may have so many.
Yes.
But then there's that
That one.
photo that
Yeah.
speaks. And that's where now AI can't win.
It can't.
There's that one photo, the
Yeah.
smile he had or
Yes,
she
yes,
had, the
yes.
pose they took,
The mood of that
the
moment.
mood of it. And they say, no, that is the photo we want. They refuse all other photos.
Yes.
They just want
That one, yeah.
And I think it makes something, eh? It's really something.
Yeah.
But the advent of family photographers, because I know you're a pioneer in terms of our in a generation like ours, you're a pioneer in family photos and taking photos to the, growing with the families right from their weddings, and going later. Of course, you have not come to the place where now they are having grandchildren. and the great-grandchildren.
Yes.
But we've seen that kind of evolution in the
Yes,
West, where
yes.
people have been family photographers for generations.
Yes.
And is that what you want to do?
I have my clients, that I have held dear for the last 15 years.
Wow.
And we've been together. So you can imagine now, some, I met them when probably they even had children are little, like 5 years old, and then we started with the younger ones. So the younger ones are now 15, the older ones are 20, 21. Some, I met them when they were really small. Right now they are taller than me. When I go to their homes, they say, Auntie Lillian is here, Mom. And she's come to take some photos, man. And, when I would direct them, now they are,
They
past,
direct themselves.
they are past teenagers, and they just want to, but they warm up to the moment because they've seen me through the years. And with this, there are not too many, but with these beautiful clients that I have, because it comes very naturally for me to do the photos. I would love to, to stretch it for as long as I can with them.
And this becomes family friends.
Yes, they do.
Become part of your life,
Yes.
part of your community.
Yes.
Have they ever given you some AKA? Lily wa mapicha.
Lili wa mbotos. Anyway,
Lily wa mbotos.
Lili wa picture. But let me tell you, once you build relationships with clients along the way, you find that work stops being just work. Of course, they respect and they know that you are a professional, because once you do your work, you become friends, but you don't forget your boundaries, okay? And I think up on your sometimes what one.
And by the way, I want you to put that as a very key point of what we're discussing today, where you bring professionalism. Yes, you've grown. Yes, you are easy with them. Yes, there's that rapport. But where do you draw the line?
Yes, and many people forget that. So Lily, through the years, I have not gotten it twisted. We are friends. We have grown to be friends. But when it comes to your work, I am a professional. You will pay me and I will deliver. Then after the job, we can crack up later and laugh. Okay? But now I have met, part of my team as well, and people I have mentored and coached. Some have gone in the right direction, some haven't. And one of the other things I used to notice is once someone breaks ice with a client, they forget that they're at work. You're at an event, we're meant to take photos. You know us, we know you. But all of a sudden, you're merrymaking, you're moving around like you're a guest.
You're a guest of the event.
Umeenda huko umeweka chakula. It's not a problem, but you begin to forget that you're at work. And there's some things that you need to deliver. And then you put your client in a very awkward position because they know you at a personal level. So they're even feeling weird just telling you, hey, focus on work, focus on work.
But you know, it should not come there.
It should not get
because
there.
You see, as a photographer, your key job in any event is to capture moments. And so you can never be overtaken. You have to be there to observe the moments. It's this, people don't just want to see photos because those days are over. People want to see something and smile. And something comes into their memory. Something comes into their heart. It makes them fond. And that's the difference between a normal photographer and a real photographer. For me, a photographer is a storyteller. Is one who captures moments. Is one who what you forgot, what you did not see, what you are not even conscious about. That's what they bring you. Can you imagine?
And you ask yourself, oh, this happened. Lily, what happened? This one. You know, they get so shocked when they're looking at the album because they couldn't even remember that probably the priest did this at that point. You know, and with the young people that I mentored, and when we speak about, you know, niching, creating your professional boundaries with clients, knowing how to own your space, there's something as well I remember touching with you about, even in terms of pricing. There are those ones who go with a mind of Nina kula moja mzuri, but then you know what happens?
I'm going to talk about that thing of monetizing your photography because or bringing the business aspect. In fact, let's because we have a few minutes to the break, bring it and then bring it back at the break. Being able to move now from just a plug. You know, this is no longer a plug. It's no longer just a hustle. It's no longer just a feeling or a desire you have, or even a passion you're pursuing. When does it begin to become a business, and how did? And I want to ask with you first. How did you turn yours into business? Running from passion.
Running from passion. So of course there was a season for employment, about 5 years. That was good. Then afterwards, when I ventured on my own, it was out of a move or a push from my clients. Because they would insist, I want you.
Oh my.
I want you to come. I want you to be the photographer.
And so the employer doesn't want you to go.
Yes. So you see, there was a bit of a clash there. But of course, you know, when you live in good terms, everybody has done their time. And when I ventured on my own, I did not struggle because I already had a good number of clients.
And the goodwill.
And the goodwill on my portfolio. And it was almost assured because I had worked with them. And what I also do is I have my clients' events on my calendar, especially birthdays, big events. And you find that during those seasons, I would probably prompt and say, hey, how are you? Hope you're well. The twins' birthday is coming up.
I want to hold it then. I want us to go for a break. You're coming back.
Okay.
And we'll pick it up from that place.
No problem.
Right?
Okay.
Lily's in the house. Send your comments, send your word. We will answer it back, and we want you to know that we are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and you can be part of this conversation. See you after the break.
There's no nation, no town, no city without fathers.
Being a Holy Spirit driven church is New Testament. the quality of the message. It was based in Acts chapter 2.
And I took my Bible and I went from street to street. Is anybody dead here?
We never met those miracles a reason to appeal for money or to be known. No.
Tracing the Mantles is a program whose core is to identify mantle carriers from our fathers.
That Catholic woman stood and he was sliding everywhere. He said, oh yes, now this is the black Catholic woman.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities that have paid the cost, stood the test of time,
You are given 6 hours to leave the country.
and made lots of sacrifices for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Many of us invested in the school, college, university ministry.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities.
One of the things that bring revival in this country is the power of the Holy Spirit, the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Catch Tracing the Mantles every Sunday from 8:30, hosted by Pastor Zunda Juma, only on Elevate TV. Are you seeking deeper understanding, spiritual growth, and a firm foundation in your walk with Christ?
Anyone who comes to the place of faith, believing Jesus Christ, they resurrect from the graves.
This is what we call doctrine.
Pillars of Faith, an educative and captivating forum to inspire your spiritual journey. With your host, Pastor Mark Mutinda, building lives on the unshakable truth of God's Word.
Welcome back. We are on photography, staying on the edge in this digital era, and my guest is Lilly, from BlackSwan Media, and she is loaded with information. Thank you, Wanjiro Mathenge Online. We see you watching. We thank you, Keep Korea Victor. Victor is saying evolution of photography.
Yeah.
And keep giving us your views. You was telling me something about how you began to monetize your is it crafts?
Yes. And I was just highlighting to you how I leveraged on the information that I already had
Yes.
of my
Of
clients.
a client, yes.
Yes. And targeting their big events, doing a prompt to them. So that started me off very well.
Wow.
Then, and of course, when you're starting on your own, sometimes it can get very daunting, very scary, because I was from employment with a sure income.
Yeah.
Now I'm out in the field, living from one invoice to the next and to the next. But I could say also God has been gracious to me. It's been 2012 till now.
Wow, it's quite some time.
Of
Let let's help someone.
Yes.
What were the key lessons you learned between moving from just employment into your own craft, into your own enterprise now?
Yeah.
How did you know it's time?
Yes.
And what were the key lessons you would tell somebody on your feet?
One is when you know it's time is when there's a push. I felt there was, and money was not the drive.
Yes.
It was the constant calls that I was getting on, come and do this for us, come and do. And now there was a conflict. And of course, you cannot have conflict of interest at your workplace.
Yes.
You either decide to step aside or to toe the line. So I just humbly requested to step aside so that I can pursue my individual work. Second thing, I would just tell somebody is know how to price.
Know how to cost price.
Yes, know how to price. Know your clientele. Know who you're working with. It's a hit or a miss in terms of costing. You might go too high, and the client will take your offer, but they will not come back.
Oh man.
And for me, my key target was to retain my clients. Another thing I would advise someone trying to get themselves into this field is, besides your passion, you have to be very professional. So you carry yourself and handle yourself very professionally, because you see, if you don't respect your own craft, no one will respect you.
Amazing.
And that's how people will joke with your money, because you just look like a nobody there.
You just came.
Yeah?
You just came with this, with your pen on your ear.
Yeah.
And
so you don't take your work seriously. You arrive late. For me, which I respect this statement, be a man of your word. A man is as good as his word.
Yes.
Yeah? So for me, if I tell you it's 6:30, it's 6:30. If I say I will deliver,
that one I can attest. You are a time person.
Yeah.
You keep time.
Yes, I do. And then if I say I will deliver in 2 weeks, if I tell you I'll deliver by 5 p.m., I try as much as possible to do exactly that. And so you know what you stand to become is you become reliable.
Yes.
People do not like people they cannot rely on. Yeah. So they're not rushing you. You're the one who said 3 days.
Yeah, the one who said, yeah.
So after 3 days, you begin to have stories.
You begin to...
And you know what happens is now people lose respect for you. Then they also, lose respect for your payment. That's why now you're beginning to charge. Mtu anakwambia sina hiyo pesa, kuja ufanye na hii. And of course, because you're also trying to survive, you take that little money, and from there it's downhill.
It's downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. And I like what you've just said in terms of when you begin to, it's time. First of all, be honorable to where you're working. Some people just walk out. You're forgetting this is a field, and in a field, we are in corners. You'll meet somewhere.
Don't burn bridges.
Yes, don't burn any bridge, because you may need to cross over again.
Yes. Yes.
Secondly, an element of professionalism, and I think that's why you register a company, or because people don't want to deal. As much as I know this is Lilly, the part of your professional outlook is your enterprise, your name, the way you call your name.
Yes.
I mean, of course, naming comes into place.
Yes.
You should see people from where we come from. If your wife is Jane and the husband is Peter, is JP.
Mine I would have probably Wanjiro and Karanja. I don't know what we would have. Wanjkara. Wanjkara for But let me say something, Moses, on that. Yeah. I remember at that point I had a very crucial debate with myself. Do I say Lilly Maingi Photography? Or do I create a company that is separate from
And
me?
by the way, that is, and we are not saying it's wrong to call it whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
We are just...
Yes. And I know there are people who have traded with their names as the photographer, and it has worked well for them.
Well, yeah.
In my case, I wanted it to be beyond me. So why I went with BlackSwan Media is I wanted an entity that did not just have me as the person behind it. Because over time, and of course because my niche was getting towards corporate work, I needed people to understand that what BlackSwan Media offers, of course with the backing of Lilly Maingi as the photographer that you trust, that anybody coming representing BlackSwan Media you will be assured of the same quality that you had entrusted with Lilly Maingi.
But the truth is this, corporates don't deal with you.
Yeah.
They deal with an entity. Even if it's a name, you have to register that name.
Yes.
Because I know there are people who've done that.
Yes.
I know a guy called, there's a guy called, Mohammed Amin actually, Mo, he's called Mo, and then there's a guy called Peter, it's called Peter Photographies. So it's important, even if it's your name, please register it.
Yes.
Because corporates will not give you side money.
Yeah, no.
They are audited.
No. Register it, and if you look at your line of work, if you are dealing more with companies that require you to have VAT, tax obligations, go that route.
Yes.
But initially, if it's not something that if it's not an you can take the steps. So, but you know, because there are people who rush completely to form a limited company, they're not there yet, then they struggle with the obligations.
Yes.
So unapata hujalipa tax, you've not done your yearly returns, you're having fines for 20,000, you're struggling, and yet you did not need to get there first. You can register a business name and then work your way up.
Yeah, it's true. I agree, that's wisdom. Because, because somebody told me, and again, you see, creative work in Kenya began being taxed after some time, when people began now getting into corporate work, and it went that way. Tell me about the fact that now you are able to move, you know, begin your own enterprise. You know, we used to have an old minister in this country called Mulu Mutisi. I don't know if you woke up one day and you saw him in Kano, and he used to say, "Kila kitu ni nywe."
I wish it was the case.
It seems like you moved in and red carpet for you, you know.
No,
with these bodyguards, you know.
Let's say there were seasons, and so of course.
And explain it sometimes. You know, some people don't understand. Creative work also has its own seasons. And when it doesn't come on, it is there. What do you do?
So there were definitely seasons where we are making money, we are busy, back to back. You know, you can't even breathe. You're waking up, there's a gig, you're sending a team to Nakuru, you're doing this, you're doing that. So there was different seasons. And for anybody getting into the industry or finding themselves now picking up, once you find you can be able to analyze yourself in about a year and see which are your busy seasons. But the one thing, because it cannot be all smooth the whole time, I've learned to also supplement my income and through some businesses that I do. So when things are not as good in terms of the photography, I have a cushioning that I can, you know, hold on to. But I have not been in a position where it has been so dry that you know, that probably I felt like this is not it.
Okay.
It's been tough, and those tough seasons, of course, they challenge you. Like, hey, I remember 1 or 2 times, of course, Mr. Karanja has borne the brunt where I'm like, hey, ni kama ni sasa nitatafuta kazi, because but you find that it's maybe 2 months of very serious, and probably a client has delayed your invoice, you're feeling quite angered about it, you're wondering, so now what is the next thing? You're looking at your calendar, you're like, hey, ni kama hizi kazi hazikuji anytime soon. But being able to, and then you see, diversify. So in the same creative space, there's what I do, photography. Then there's branding, there's graphic design, there's photo books. You can't just do one thing.
You know, because you see, when it comes to opportunities when the business is hard, I think it's a time for creativity. A time to be, you know, the things people do. Yeah,
and you know, let me tell you, during COVID, I actually did a lot of work.
Oh.
Yes, and surprising, it was not the actual shooting. Now, COVID season brought about this aspect for now production. So now most of the people we've done work with, now they stopped having their images on digital copies, files. So what they have now is, Lilly, can we produce? I did tons and tons of photo books. I had all the time to sit and design photo books and create and do albums and what. So find out how, still in your field, you can diversify, do a few other things, sell photographs, do social media management, photo books, prints, whatever it is, so that you just supplement.
Lily, beyond advertising yourself through clients and word of mouth and recommendation, because one of the key things that comes out for me about you, you're too not just, let me not use the word friendly, but you're very, you don't just take your work, you don't want to have the business aspect, you also want to create a relationship so that it goes beyond. Beyond that, the power of social media.
Yeah.
How you've leveraged on it to be able to market BlackSwan. Yeah.
You have, yeah, I have found myself, taking advantage of social media, and especially to show, say, my new clients or the potential clients what I do. So anyone getting into this industry must also have a presence, because on social media, I want you to also see and appreciate who Lilly BlackSwan is. So I'm a bit out there on social media, though I have a slight catch for me, unfortunately or fortunately, being a family photographer.
Yes.
And now it's my plus negative kind of situation, because families are private.
Private. Yes.
So,
I was about to ask you that.
Yes, so families are very private.
So you can't post their photos.
So I cannot post their photos. I cannot market to their images.
You're right.
And over time, this is what has made them stick around.
It's amazing because most people would want to use those photos. I got involved some time back with the same kind. And I realized these are very private people.
Yeah.
And you have to respect privacy.
Yes.
You literally protect that privacy, and they have to know and feel this BlackSwan protects our privacy.
Yes.
We are private with her.
Yes.
Yes, she has our files.
Yes.
She has our photos, but they will never leak out.
Oh yeah, and that has been me through the years. I mean, I've done politicians, top lawyers. I've done big people. And I don't know whether I should say this, and some with one family, two families, and they know that I will go to nyumba ya kwanza and I take photos with Lilly, and I'll go to my second home, I take photos with Lilly, and it will remain as that.
Yeah.
So, and in return, so I also charge quite a bit, because if I cannot...
No, it's not quite a bit. You charge for your professionalism.
Yes.
Because you see, art, many people, by the way, in Kenya, art was never appreciated.
Yes.
Art has not been appreciated. In fact, if art was to pay, creative art in this country, I think we would have the industry. I mean, look at Nigeria, look at South Africa. In Africa, when you talk about creative art, go to Nigeria, you'll be amazed. It's a literal Hollywood. You go to South Africa, people live on creativity. You go to, I think, in another African country where you can find that is maybe Morocco or Egypt. Some, but not really. But I think these two countries are very, very key. But then Kenya is also coming up very, very, very well. Tanzania, look at Tanzania right now.
And we have to, and I love this, and even this kind of interview, so that we have this representation where we are showing people that you can actually not survive, but thrive in the creative industry.
Yes.
And there are people who are doing it. There are people who are living good lives.
Their dream,
and living their dream and enjoying their passion, okay? And it's shifting, of course, because for some time, I think earlier on, you'd say you're a photographer and someone wants to place you somewhere.
You begin with your parent.
And they want to place you somewhere. Like they want to evaluate course class gani. But over time, when you own your space, when you own your craft, when you understand what you bring to the table, no one shakes you. I mean, you walk into a room, and I've been in spaces where someone would try and size me, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, people, and it's because it's a mentality that people don't have this, and it's unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate experience because people don't know what they are earning. Maybe some of them in a month, you hit it in a day.
Yeah. Someone would think you're struggling.
Just one gig, and you still have more time than they do.
Yeah.
But then to them, you're not going to an 8 to 5 job. What are you trying to tell us?
Yes.
You have stolen that car.
Yeah.
You must have.
Or you need to be in this, sort of industries for you to be given some sort of respect.
Yes.
And I love that is changing.
It's changing.
The representation we are giving out here, that you know, we are doing well with the craft that we are having. We're doing well with the work that we are doing. Photographers are earning a decent living.
And raising children to, you know, I know, I mean, look at Bonnie. Bonnie is actually a key photographer.
Yes.
Bonnie is a key photographer. And if you go to his studio, you won't believe what you will see.
Yes.
He's done big things, you know. In fact, he's one of a role model in this country in major photography, and especially telling the stories of Kenya, the civil rights, you know, not, you know, human rights movie stories.
Yes.
He's been able to bring them out. I remember when he brought out his exhibition at the Hilton about the 2007-2008 election and violence, and many others. I visited another one in Juba, in a village. This guy called Peter, is it Peter Krina? I mean, the guy's a very good photographer, bringing out, you know, the African culture. You know, he just travels into African cultures where people just live their culture, and when you look at his exhibitions, you just love it.
Yeah.
And the kind of money, hey, the kind of, I got a one-on-one with him.
Yes.
Of course, it's not those. He's not very talkative.
Yeah.
But he said, one of the key things he decided, if he's going to risk his life, then there must be a premium for it.
Yes.
So these are the costs, because now for him, most of them now, you know, like this, the way you said in the beginning, a niche. The guy works with museums. The guy works with cultural institutions, where now they want their, and everybody wants something nice, so they pay a premium for it.
Yes. Yeah. And we have to let the ones who are coming in also come in very confident, you know, come in, and then once you respect your profession, once you own it, present yourself in a way that, and this I tell, and I've fallen out with a few, and some I've grown with them, but the ones that I did not manage to work with is that aspect of, if you don't respect yourself, no one will respect you.
Of course.
If you are sent out for work and you just come appearing the way you know, you don't, if everybody is respecting their industry, why not you?
And actually that came the place of branding, when BlackSwan Media is the one handling this event, because you want to avoid all that, you brand your crew.
Yes.
So they come in a certain way.
Yes.
They are clear.
Yes.
Because again, people need to know who are the official people with this event, whether it's a corporate event, and especially corporate events, they need to see very serious work. We can't talk everything.
Yes,
I want to ask you something that I always ask. Ethics. Issue of what we call ethics. You know, ethics in the work. Having ethical, you know, values. So we're talking about values. There's a place of money, yes, but now where you have values, and I think you spoke one. You are very confidential with clients.
Yeah.
Talk about ethics and how people break that. I don't call it a protocol, but they broke that. They break that breach. They breach that, and because of values, they lose business. They lose opportunity. They lose. And if you have ever gone through it, tell us.
Personally, I haven't, but I understand, and I hear what you're asking about. You know, the ethics in our industry. And I'd probably sum it up as being able to know what your clientele wants. I have corporate companies that I've worked with, and we sign NDAs.
Yes.
And whatever you do, you cannot market with this content.
Yes.
Okay? Or you cannot use these images for something else. And something about values is, once you know what you stand for, then there's work you can do, and now maybe I would have understood you differently, but in terms of values, what I think of is there's work that Lilly I can do, and there's work I cannot do, because my values do not go with the
what
job.
You're offering me.
Yeah, what you're offering me.
Amazing.
And so sometimes it's not even about the money. You have to know what your values are.
And I think that to me is amazing.
Yeah.
Lily, because I've seen people under duress to do work. And when you look at this person and this one, so where are your values?
Yeah.
Where do you, where can we place you?
Yes.
In fact, if that work,
Yeah.
you know, one was even telling me one time, I'll not put my credits. I told you, even if you don't put your credits, word will still go out.
Yeah.
This is a handiwork of so-and-so.
Yeah.
And you're compromising families here. You're doing this. It's not right. And
you have to find your purpose, and you have to find yourself in this point where you're not being driven by money. Because you know the thing about money, you start chasing it, it keeps going away from you. But the minute you settle in and be comfortable and understand what you want to do, respect your values, stand right by what you do, you don't even have to chase. The right clientele will come. The right business will come. The right corporate companies will look for you. But you can't do everything. You can't chase all the monies just because kuna pesa huko unakimbia kufanya hivyo. Just kuna pesa kule, you run and do another job. And then when you look at the output, you ask yourself, sasa hii kazi.
It's so sad because I'm telling you something that I saw and I was very moved. There was a bad story in our, it came on national TV. There was these guys that were doing some obscene stuff. They're taking photos of children and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I saw the person being arrested, I said, oh no, this guy, I know him.
Alikuwa anakimbiza pesa.
I know this guy.
Yeah.
What is the problem?
Yeah.
But then when later we were trying to put this two and two together, we realized it's a value issue. When you don't have values, you know sometimes, and the advent of social media, we even not have touched it. The advent of social media has put people at a place where they are pushed to bring content at the expense of values.
Yes, yes.
So you want to tarnish Lilly, not forgetting Lilly has a family, Lilly has a business, Lilly is a mother, Lilly is this.
Yes.
She's a child of somebody,
yes.
you know?
Yes.
She has a community.
Yes.
She is a corporate entity. Do you know what you're doing?
Yeah, yeah. and that's it. And it's generally in terms of life. If you have no values, if you don't stand for something, you go with anything. And then once you do that, then I always say, like, I want to be remembered for a few good things. Not for everything.
Yes.
Not for everything.
Everybody wants that.
Yeah. Just a few good things.
I'm amazed. Look, time.
I know.
Lilly, time. The future. What is the future of photography? When you look at it from where you started, where you are, and where we are going, what are you looking at?
I see the future being very interesting in terms of the tech that is coming up, and photographers needing to adapt to the new changes in the industry, and finding ways to commercialize and make money through the various aspects that they can offer, even in the world that is busy with the tech that is advancing. So how as Lilly, I want to find myself still being able to be a good storyteller. One that I've always done is to capture memories. I'd still want to be able to do that. So however it happens, you have your images, you've taken them yourself, bring them. I'll preserve and capture them for you. So I'll find ways in which I can still be relevant in your life, you know, and secure my space as a creative.
So the future is better.
Oh, it is. It is. And we are learning the AI, and we are adapting to the new technology.
To the new world.
Yes.
Because technology is here, and we cannot run away from it. And amazing. The future looks amazing.
It does.
I mean, I'm looking at the future in any industry, by the way. In every industry, there's the tech future, but then you see tech must be run by some people behind it, and being able to master it, be able to use it, leverage on it, and be able to come up with things that are key in terms of the future. You know, sometimes when you look at the future, I think about like you told me you had a camera from your dad, which was a film camera.
Yeah.
I hope he's still there. I pray that he is.
I don't know where it went. But you know what I used to love about it? Do you remember when you used the film and then you used to...
Yeah. Somebody used to say you're cooking the gun.
Yeah, that thing, it used to sound so nice. I think
maybe you should have a collection. You should say in your studio you should put the collections.
Probably,
you know?
I should.
I mean, you do that. You do your webcam. You do. You know, and that the memory. I mean, when you look at, for me, photography, I like summing it up this way. Number 2, storytelling and memories.
Yes.
That's what I can call
exactly.
it. Storytelling
and memories. Once you figure those two out, you're set. Because no tech will replace you. No AI can replace those two aspects in photography.
Lily,
yes.
Look at that camera. I want you to give me a parting shot. Speak to somebody's heart. The storyteller now.
I want to encourage anyone trying and getting into the creative industry. And I'd love to tell you to own your space. Love your craft. Do what you do with passion. Know that you're changing lives, transforming spaces and people. And be out here ready to capture and preserve precious memories. And do not forget to touch and add the human aspect, because nothing can replace that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Lily has said it all. It's been a pleasure just to have Lily in this house. Elevate appreciates you.
Thank you. I appreciate Elevate as well.
You really are part. I mean, when I called and you said you're ready,
yes,
and I know your schedules, I'm so privileged
and
to just host you.
Yeah.
This is a memory.
Yes. Can I remind you? 3 years ago, I was, I think, 9 months.
Yes, yeah. And I saw you post that. You posted that.
I just needed to remind myself how.
I tell you, these are memories.
Yeah, good memories. So happy. Yeah.
Thank you for being there. Thank you for the conversations. All of you online, we appreciate you. Remember this. Elevate exists so that you can actually be part of this community. We want you to be our memories. And so the numbers on the screen there, if you feel something was not done well, if you feel something should be redone, if you want Lily back, please text. She'll be back. And we will do the best for that. So keeping Elevate every time, we shall be advancing kingdom in Jesus' name. So God bless you. See you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.